And first of all, we would like to begin with what is normal behavior?
I think normal behavior is anything that kind of is in line with the cultural norms of society. And yeah, it's the culture that determines what these norms are.
Will you provide us with some examples of what normal behavior can be?
Yeah, for example, normal behavior is maybe feeling embarrassed when you break one of these norms, or stopping at red lights. That is normal behavior. Being respectful to elders, probably normal behavior in all cultures.
And what is abnormal behavior?
I think abnormal behavior stems from a breakdown in empathy. When you don't know how others perceive you, when you don't realize that you're interacting with other people that have the same feelings and the same feelings, the same soul, the same motivations as you, then that's when you can see abnormal behavior. Also, there's like psychological diseases as well. I'm sure Ms. Rodriguez can tell you about those.
And
She's great.
and can you provide some examples of what abnormal behavior would be?
The biggest example of abnormal behavior would be sociopaths. And not all of them are the serial killers that you constantly hear about in the news, but sociopaths are those who continuously break the cultural norms, societal norms in big ways, not just like small norms, but bigger taboos, I guess.
And who do you think should decide what normal and abnormal behavior is and why?
I mean, there's no one decider. There are people that could influence societal norms, but it's a collective. Abnormal behavior and normal behavior is decided by the collective group, I think. And there are probably key players that could influence behavior, like the King of Spain made that lisp, and so that became normal behavior because he was developed a lisp and he wanted to disseminate that. Maybe TV and what people receive in the media, that could influence behavior and influence normal behavior, but no one should decide.
Alright, thank you for answering the questions.
Hey, no problem. I had a fun time.
Hello, we're going to make you some questions about what you think about normal. And the first question we have is, what is normal behavior?
Normal? I believe that normal behavior is the type of behavior you make every day, like traditional things you do.
Like you provide some examples, like specific examples of what is normal behavior.
Like a normal behavior would be getting mad when someone hits you. That's normal. People get mad when someone hit them.
And what is abnormal behavior?
Abnormal behavior would be, I believe, like when someone's really bipolar and they react in a very inappropriate way to whatever is done to them.
And can you provide like some extra examples of what is abnormal behavior?
Like sometimes people make jokes on people can make jokes on you, and maybe it's a silly joke and you act in a very abnormal way because maybe you get extremely mad or you start hitting the person or something of the sort.
Who should decide what normal and abnormal behavior is?
I think it depends on the person and the situation you're looking at.
Can we give us some examples?
The examples I said before, I think they apply for this question.
Thanks.
Discussion part of this project, and the first question we're going to discuss is, are there common themes in the responses? Explain the themes you find, and the first theme we found is that law. Supposedly if you're normal, you're going to go along with the law. That's what St. Peter said, like stopping in a red light. So if you don't do that, if you don't follow the laws, you're not normal. Another thing is feeling emotions. That's what Isabella said about how being normal, you feel emotions and you react to different stimulations to your heart or your mind. So what normal really means in society is being able to fit in and being able to act as the rest. So as we're learning now in psychology, being abnormal is a lot different than what the society thinks.
Responses you agree with. Why?
Well, the response I agree with is with Mr. St. Peter, because it actually is full of backup. Because in a part he said that what normal is people that follow the rules that are stated long time ago, right? Like helping the elders, being nice to them, like Christopher explained, stopping at the red light because it's of normal sense. It's what tells the people what's correct and not. That's why also about empathy, because people that don't have empathy are not normal, since they don't know when to stop or not.
Are there responses you disagree with? Why?
Yes, I disagree with both Isabel and Mr. Peter to a certain extent. First of all, going back to what Francisco was saying, empathy, it is considered normal because society puts it as normal behavior, but it also depends on the individual and their surroundings, what they think it's true, what they think it's the best, and at the end, no one can determine what's normal or abnormal, or what's a normal behavior or abnormal behavior. But those are the limits, we could call them, that society sets on the individual, and the individual has to live up to those standards set. But there's no abnormal or normal behavior. And to what Isabel said, she gave examples of abnormal behavior as some rude behavior or what people will consider weird at a social situation. But in that case, it can also again depend on the individual of what he thinks is the best and what he is used to do. It could be seen as abnormal, but it could be seen as normal in him. So those are responses that are highly controversial because there's no right or wrong in this case.
What examples of normal and abnormal behavior would you add to what your interviews provided? And so we believe, as Isabel Toledo said, normal behaviors would be having emotions. For example, if somebody hits me, it's normal for me to get mad, or it's normal for me to love somebody or to have feelings towards persons.
But also, like, contrasting to what other people say, you can say that normal behavior is when you get sick or you have a psychological disorder, because that happens. So it's like normal, but at the same time it's abnormal. So there's endless examples of each. So maybe besides that, you can consider normal to be like when they hit you, you cry, or when someone insults you, you get mad. Just pretty much feeling emotion and following the law as society predicts it.
Yeah, I mean, normal behavior could be following the rules or doing what society expects, like a normal person to do. The question is, who should decide what normal and abnormal behavior is? And we believe that nobody should decide what abnormal and normal behavior is until a certain point.
Yeah, and we were like this certain point would be like, some people consider killing normal, some people consider killing abnormal. So there has to be a certain point where your thoughts don't interfere with morality. So like killing is immoral and it should be considered abnormal because it's not a correct thing to do. So like said before, we have to stay inside the laws,
inside the rules and what like society expects
exactly
a person to act. And
so like you can't go beyond that limit, because even if you personally think it's normal, it's not right because it's harmful to another person. So basically what is normal is feeling emotion, following the law, and what is abnormal is not following the law or being, like examples said before, like our teacher said before, a psychopath, or examples like that. And if like we do agree, nobody should really dictate what normal or abnormal is, but
there should be a point and a limit to what you do
and how you respond to your actions too.
And during modern day actually fits into what society believes. So we just agree with society and how they dictate, but it's
And as
like,
the rules and morals that as society it teaches us, and we follow them because that's what we believe is correct, and what we believe is correct is what it can be normal.